So I just cloned the room. You can do that by going into the room, clone room, and then I didn't check the clone products with the room, so I wanted to get the empty room. First off, when you're drawing your own rooms, one of the first things I do after I get the walls drawn is I go to the room pull down menu. I click on shift room contents and then just OK. And that's going to move the room to the center. And that way, when we rotate around, we'll be able to see this better. It'll be a lot easier for you to manipulate the screen to exactly where you want it. So first and foremost with this, what I always do on these is I am going to try to do 14-inch panels all the way along because I can get them to match up in the corners. So if you notice, we have 5.809 inches on that critical dimension and it went green. If I just left click to place that and I come to the adjacent wall and I do the same thing, 5.809, you'll notice down here that we have a really nice tight fit in there, and it'll actually come together looking really nice. So here, I'm going to do the same thing here, and then I'm going to put my drawer section in there. This will be a section we're going to end up having to cut. And then here, I mean, space bar. I can come back in on this one and just do a standard width so we could have more, we could do hanging over here and our drawer sections over here and have a really nice space. And then we'll just use filler on this sidewall to come along. What I would do, this is for a couple of boys, we could do the hamper and drawers. And then over here, we can do, it's the standard. And then I have some custom towers that I've built with no toe kick. I can do double hang. Now when I come and do this, I'm going to have a pretty nice look. Actually, that's no bueno because those doors are going to interfere with each other when they open. We can't do that. All right, let's figure out what else we can do there. 25 inches. It's really not any good to have hanging on this side. I actually think what we're going to end up having to do is, so if I do this, do two 18-inch sections in there. I am going to put shelving here. We can leave the hamper there, and then I can do the other drawers over here. And then have all my hanging just on this one, on these two walls. So what this is going to allow us to do is kids need lots of hanging, but they got the hamper, they got a couple of drawers. We've got 5 feet of hanging in this space, your space. We only had four, but we're going to get, how much shoe length do we have over here? 47 feet of shoe or shelving, and we can make that up pretty easily by just adding a couple more shelves. This 30 inch is actually good for shoe shelves, so we could leave a little bit in there. So now when I look at that, we got 46 feet of shelving, 5 feet of hanging. So we actually have more capacity in here, and we've created something that'll work. We just couldn't have these two because they would interfere with each other. So the last thing that we could do with this is maybe for ease of installation, just go in and throw top shelf on here, because the top shelf, we can fill up those gaps pretty easily. So one of the issues you have is how do you finish off here? And if we're using all floor mounted, this works really nice. And we'll have to cut this section in the field, probably both of these sections in the field to get that to fit in exactly, but the rest of it is all pretty straightforward. So we'll only have to cut these few shelves. These shelves we can cut just with a handsaw. Anyway, I'll send this over to you and you can watch the video of how I did this.